Hey everybody, we are going to be getting started soon. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching this right now, it's May 20th and we're at Liberty Station in San Diego Writers Inc. And we're going to have some live readings from poems in just a few minutes. It will get quieter in here, but for right now everybody's getting food and we're going to start in just a few, but I wanted to go ahead and hop on so that it was set up for you guys. So watch this space and we'll start in about 5 minutes. Starting in just about 3 minutes, guys. Hey, Kimberly. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. We're going to start in about 3 minutes. Everybody's just settling in, and I'm going to get Adam up here, and he's going to introduce, and yeah, we'll get started in just a little bit. So hang tight for about 3 more minutes. Thanks. I'm going to start Instagram on the other phone, so we'll hear the intro speech again. Connection? Uh-oh. We have to have a connection. Okay, yeah. Hey everyone, we are going to be live. Wait, Hillary. She ran away. I'm on Hillary's phone because I definitely forgot my laptop at home. But we are going to be live. We're going to have all our poets up here in just a moment on the stage. It's going to get quieter, but I just wanted to start the live, make sure it was working. In about 2 minutes, we're going to start. So, yeah, all the cameras are facing the podium, and we're going to be starting in just a couple of minutes. Thanks so much.
too much. Make podcasts, I write poetry, fiction, all kinds of things. So I was lucky enough and honored to be asked to MC this fantastic event. Yes, sorry. The mic doesn't work, so we'll have to. That's on me. I'll be better about that. All right.
Use the classroom voice.
Yes, my class. Good point. I was really honored to be able to MC this. I've had Bethel on my podcast, The Written Scene, and we talked about this book. And then to find out that she's got a new cover was just pretty cool, even though I kind of like the old one, but I'm sure the new one's great. So what's going to happen is I'm going to bring up Bethel, and she's going to talk a little bit about the book and some other things that are happening. And then I'm going to introduce a few people, or not a few people, the poets, each one at a time. I've got my own little introductions here that I worked on this morning. So we'll go ahead and get that started. Do you want me to read anything, or do you want me to add something?
Yeah. You read one of your shorts?
Do you want me to read one of mine?
Yeah.
It's more for everybody else, but I'll go ahead and read. Well, this one actually was in the San Diego Poetry Annual that came out this year. So this is called Thread. We've met before, right? Because I swear I once felt your hair brush against my cheek, just like it did tonight, just on a night long before this. It's like I've stored away the feel of your skin in the folds and hairpin turns of the twisted roads that keep keeping me awake, stopping only and briefly for the tolls we take to get there. That place where we'll finally remember who we were and why we keep meeting like this, or why we can't seem to meet sooner. And the wound your name made in my skin I wear with pride, even though we have something to hide. And when your blue eyes reach deep inside, grab hold of my rib cage, embedding yourself in my lung, my illiterate tongue finds the word it's been meaning to say all this time. This time, I won't let you leave. All right, that was up.
All right, everybody. So I'm going to just briefly talk about the cover. I am going to read from the book, but I'm going to read at the end. I failed and left the old book with the old cover at home, so you don't get to see the before and after unless you happen to have seen it before. But the feedback I got on it, I'm an indie publisher. That means I hired my cover designer, hired my editors, all of that. And I did have a professional do the previous cover, but it was very affordable, let's say, and so she just said kind of like, what do you like? And I was like, I like these pictures, and she's like, okay. She slapped the picture up there, and that was the end. There wasn't a lot of like design work into it. And the feedback I got on it was that it was, it made you think of self-help or a novel or something like that. So I decided to redo the cover. I'm also a mixed media artist, so I knew I wanted something mixed media on the cover. And when we were flying home from Chile, I just got the idea of, there's one image in one of the poems that I'll read later today, and it talks about crushing the petals of the flowers that I received from a gentleman and releasing them. And so that's where the bottom image kind of came from. And I actually took this picture of my hand and traced it, and that's as far as I got, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need professional help. So I hired the designer, and she did it in embroidery. Line drawing is very in poetry book covers right now, but I wanted it to be embroidery because a lot of my art involves embroidery. And then these butterflies are actually little butterflies I bought and purchased online, and I photographed them painstakingly on like multiple phones. I had my old Pixel and my new iPhone, and then I sent her like 40, 50 some pictures of these butterflies, and she actually took them individually and then digitally manipulated them. So a lot of love and hard work went into this. She's great. If anybody wants a cover through her, she's through 99 Designs. I'd be happy to give you her information. So that's about it on the cover. I am a huge fan. And just a few little housekeeping things for our readings today. Carla, unfortunately, was sick and cannot make it today, Carla Cordero. But otherwise, I think everybody is here. And Jen Laffer, Jen, can you wave? She's going to tell everybody when you're getting kind of pretty, like within 30 seconds of your 5 minutes. She's going to have it counting up on her phone. And she's going to give you like a little 30-second wave so you know to wrap it up. And just my advice, I know some of us have read quite a lot and some of us have not. My advice is just if you are giving more background, that's going to chip away at your reading a poem time. And vice versa, if you just want to cut straight to the poems, then you probably could read more than one or two, okay? So thank you all for being here. It's very heartwarming to see so many smiling faces. And without further ado, let's get started.
You're probably going to see my face a lot throughout today. I apologize. So I'm just going to keep these quick. When Bethel asked me to do this, I don't really fuck around when it comes to people asking me to do something, so I actually have little introductions for everybody, so good luck. Okay, first up is an essayist, a Jewish educator, and much more. She's also been a presenter for the Jewish Community Center, who also has poetry readings, and I was lucky enough to read their one here. So, first up is Janice Alper.
Well, my cover was designed by my friend Dana Levine, and she's an artist, and she did this for me. It's an old book, and they're available to you. I will read 2 poems from the book, and then Jen will tell me if I have more time. The first one is called Ashes on My Shelf. T-cell counts, viral loads. The insidious virus took her life. This beautiful child who never had a chance. Heavy metal boomed in her ears, a toolkit nearby to build and repair things. Maybe the world. Not like other girls, even her identical twin. She hated dresses, loved torn jeans, snacked on oranges, puffed on cigarettes, chugged Cokes, pigged out on Chinese food, lost every tooth in her mouth before she was 21. Never quite made the grade, school a challenge, street smarts sustained her. Feisty, staying her ground while others sneered, nasty words. She turned the other cheek, upward like a sunflower. The cocktail may have worked, but the regimen too hard. Or maybe she had enough. I'll never know. Just as the butterfly emerges from the cocoon, shares its beauty for a short while, my youngest child disappeared into ashes that languish on a shelf in an urn, with a piece of my heart among them. This is a little different. It's called Who Will Read My Stories? She writes poetry and plays, gets all A's in school, loves the theater and music, and aspires to teach literature. He's a math whiz, completes complicated jigsaw puzzles in record time, has a great sense of humor, and is a good conversationalist. They both play soccer and basketball. They excel in what they do and win awards for their prowess. They live in a quiet suburb, cannot imagine simple street games like Potsy, Punchball, Stoopball, and Ringalivio. They're making their own memories. They don't want mine. Their house is quiet on Sundays. They go out for bagels and brunch. Aunts, uncles, cousins don't come together around the kitchen table. There's no cacophony of everyone talking all at once, solving the problems of the world, arguing baseball. Their grandparents speak English. They have their own stories. They don't want mine. I wonder who will read my tales when I'm no longer here to tell them. Okay, this is from my forthcoming memoir, also cover not quite ready, designed by Dana Levine. It comes from a workshop, 5 years of work with Judy Reeves, among other things. And this was published in A Year in Ink in 2021. My mother's hands. A soft pencil moistened on her tongue, add up a column of numbers, on a brown grocery bag. My mother's hands, fingers calloused from packing groceries, lugging cartons across the floor, counting out change. Over the washtub, scrubbing dirt from shirts and sheets. My mother's hands, wet with soap, up and down the washboard, wringing and twisting droplets of dreams. My mother's hands knit sweaters, held books as she read to me, to her grandchildren, hugged me, caressed my babies, softened with age. My mother's hands, always busy, at last reposed in death. Thank you.
Thank you, Janice. Just one quick reminder really quick. We have Facebook, Instagram, live stuff going here, so feel free to also look at them every once in a while you're looking around, because they matter too. Even though they're not here, they're still people. All right. Up next, I've known this poet for several years through Sunny Ray. Had her on my poetry reading a time or two. Her poetry is honest and raw and really what we all need. Nicole Avila.
That was very generous. I'm going to read you two poems from this work. This is a self-published work of mine. The art covering comes from a local surrealism artist. Her name is Mary June. She's far more talented than I, in a different era, but yet far more talented than me. So if you ever, this photo does no justice to her work, so please check her out. The first poem I'm going to read, this book is called Brainwaves, so all of the poems within it attribute to a different aspect of the brain. So if you're like, I have no idea what that means, Google it later. But this poem is called Broca's Area. I've been quiet lately. Yo sé por qué será. But I've already lived my childhood in silence, in quiet, inquiring. Not because I've had nothing to say, but quite frankly, because my words still scrape my tongue on the way out. And I always have the right words, but seldomly in the right order. And tell me, what's the use of talking if you're only welcome to say everything but that what you actually mean? Meaning, I long to translate stories buried beneath my skin. I want the words to fold into origami lanterns of hope, so that I may release them into places you still can't seem to let the light in. But truth be told, my voice is too loud, too harsh when it's passionate, so I soften it without intention to make the message more absorbable. I speak my truth in doses, where my audience tends to only consume the portions that have been watered down or altered. Systemic manipulations, marginalization by colonization don't seem to be the topic of conversation. But why can't I table this idea if I don't even have a seat amongst humanity, fighting for social justice to keep my sanity, weaving soliloquies of revival, coming soft like the use of profanity? Now, if we reframe the mentality of violence greeting us soft and polite like hospitality, then maybe the diplomacy of human casualties will bring into question justice for all or only for some severe calamity. The second poem I'm going to read is called Hippocampus. Now, if I were to write a poem about you, you'd be somewhere between a vision and a view, pixelated composites and enlargement. No further detail, display in absolute. Storytelling and imagery, movie reeling my memory, code switching, the times we share like Bitleys and Chronic. Isn't it ironic? I find it quite harmonic. Colliding past with present, rigid plate tectonics. You embody all I know to be true. If given time, a vision and a view, breathing life into all that I do. Kick-starting my heart like a true motley crew, taking back Sundays in the D. Mimosas, laughter in the smooth jazz beat. Sundown reminiscing in the passenger seat. Machi Jordan in the world at our feet. Now, if I were to write a poem about you, I got your back, we can do this. Hold up. I have a couple more. This one is called Stay. I'm often told I say I love you too much. I guess maybe I'm making up for lost time. I guess maybe I thought you didn't hear it as often as you should. I guess maybe I wondered if I said it enough to you. You'd know that I love you really means you're nothing like they say you are, and definitely not who you've made your mind up to be. My I love you means that you can climb right out of your own skin, mark the time of death and birth, simultaneously on government letterhead. The ink, still wet, would run off the page, flailing hopelessly into my arms where there's still a place for you. Because my love has infinite capacity. It's the lip-stained coffee mark on your favorite mug, the sun that peeks through the curtains in the morning, the honeydew that trespasses without permission. I love you in the places you've forgotten how to find, and I'd love to meet you in the middle. Two more quick ones. The last one's a little long. This one doesn't have a name. I wish you could have met him. I do. I wish he could feel your resilience and the shit you've made it through. Hell, maybe in an instant, even he would see it too. That the bottle's only meant for drowning while you wish you could redo. My last poem is called Black, Blue, and You. I've always been fond of the color black. Its constant availability while still remaining mysterious. It goes with almost anything, hides essentially everything. Damn good at keeping a secret. I fell in love with a boy in a black pickup truck. The kind of truck with a bed big enough to lay in the black of night and gaze up at the stars. The kind of boy you'd want to gaze at instead. The star athlete with the pitch black hair and the midnight eyes. I thought it was kind of sweet, the way his eyes were so dark you'd rarely see the light flicker behind them. Yet conspicuous in the absence of light, my little firefly. I wanted to be a firefly too. On the night of my best friend's birthday, I slipped my yellow-toned skin into a little black dress, determined to light up his eyes. And when I arrived, it would have been damn near impossible to spot him in the shuffle of people, but there was an unmistakable glow in his eyes. The light emanating from them illuminated my path as I got closer. The light beamed on an unmistakable hue of blue. He planted a kiss upon my cheek and entangled his fingers in mine. Led me through the crowd, a most gracious chauffeur. Eventually, the ushering turned to urgency, and I was being swept off my feet onto his shoulder. As my body came bounding down painfully with every stride, I started to scan the crowd to find the danger. It was but a sea of people, some dancing, some laughing, all blissfully unaware of the emergency my night was saving me from. We shuffled through the double-door entrance to the venue, past the endless row of cars, into the safety of his black pickup truck. I lifted my head to inhale the blue eyes, taking a moment to catch my breath as it was knocked out of me by the thundering of fireworks above. It all came crashing down. The remnants of black powder, his fists. The gun-retching truth, his fists. The instantaneous pain from his fists. Fists of fury, of blind rage, a caged firefly set free. We weren't running for safety, after all. We were hopelessly running towards it, into an abyss of danger, completely remiss to the fact that the hue of blue was anger seething. Fire at its hottest, and I, a goddess in a black dress, the gasoline. Today, my skin apologized to the back of his hand for the last time. I'm hopeful it's true. Knowing in the pit of my stomach, tomorrow, I'll be black and blue with you.
Told you. I don't know how she recites poetry like that with a smile. Like that's some strength right there. And I don't know if I heard some childish things about it in the second one, but all right, moving along. Up next, her poetry actually makes me feel like she's an old grizzled poet, but she's like early 30s, if I'm allowed to say that. And it's actually something that grizzled poetry is something that I actually connect with because it took me 30 years to get here. So up next is Hillary Grown.
Never tell women days.
I am 32. I'm not ashamed to admit it. So. say thank you for inviting me. This is such a cool thing to be a part of. And I don't have a book yet, but I'm in a room full of women who do have books, so it's so inspiring. It's a dream of mine. So I'm just so honored to be here. So this first poem has a lot to do with being a woman in this world. It's not always easy. I think you guys all know that. That's what this is about. It's called My Body is an Earth. If I could press my lips to the corners of my eyes and kiss the lines that laughter made, I would. I'd stretch my skin 3 times over to make space for the marks that love made. I'd plant gardens in the grooves that gravity gave, and water every inch of my wild with tears I've cried. I'd set my sun and rise my moon over the horizon of my hips, gently colliding my shore and my tide. I'd keep my belly soft and sweet. I'd open my lungs and give them more air. I'd give my hair wings to fly away when invited by the wind. I'd throw my head back as often as I could. I'd reverse every mirror so I could see the beauty in myself that others do. I'd wrap my arms around as many lovers as this lifetime grants me. In every weightless moment, I wouldn't hesitate to soar. In every embrace, I wouldn't hesitate to stay. When others think of me, I hope they think of the size of my heart and not the size of my waist or the weight of my bones. My body is an earth stretching across this soul, and if I could give my whole life just to learn how to love it, I would. And this one is called Cycles. It's about healing and how annoying it is and can be. Okay. I'm listening to Bruce Springsteen again, ugly, dancing in the dark again. I'm wandering old bookstores, ripping pages from my spine and hiding them in the poetry section again. I'm drunk and crying to my friends again. Pain I'll laugh off in the morning. Thought I'd give love another try, so I downloaded Hinge again. Hundreds of eligible women at my fingertips and still not a hand to hold. I'm cursing the universe again. She took one look at me and said that one was going to be lonely. Let's break her heart again, and again, until she learns how to mend what's within. Cycles I swore I had broken. Yet death still finds a way to unsettle itself at the ruin I keep coming back to. I'm in the thick of it again, praying to a God I don't know if I believe in again. I'm waiting on a miracle to pull me from the trenches of this hurt, but what I always seem to forget until I'm buried beneath the debris is that my miracle always was and always will be me. Thank you. So I have one more. And it is called Imposter. I wish I knew ease, like the girl who walks into a room with the breeze at her back. Instead, I stumble to the back, find relief in an empty seat, and watch the room, watch her every move. I count the seconds between breath and tell myself that I belong here, but these affirmations feel like lies. Am I doing the self-care thing right? Because my soft era still stings. I crave authenticity, but fail at it every time. My friends feel like strangers, and my life feels like I'm just passing by. I catch myself fighting to stay relevant, a fight I don't want. Still, I post my truth and count the likes. When did my poetry become content? When did everyone get a lion tattoo? I can't keep up. My Pinterest fails aren't cute. I bought all white shoes, but can't keep them clean. My plants deserve a better mother. I weep for every darkened leaf. My tears are rain turned sewer water. Everything is beautiful until it touches me.
We need to get her a book, so if anybody publisher, please do. Yeah. All right, up next is someone I'm actually very proud to call a friend. She's a writer, she's a poet. Her gorgeous memoir, When I Was Her Daughter, is a testament to how the hardest and most frightening moments of our lives actually don't have to define us. So up next is Leslie Ferguson.
Hi everybody, it's such an honor to be here. Thank you for coming. I do want to say that after all of the readers have read and all the planes have been grounded, there's going to be a little selfie station and we encourage you to take pictures, post, tag, and just have a good time. There's plenty of food if you haven't already noticed, so pig out, enjoy yourselves. I'd first like to read a brief excerpt from my memoir and just a little bit of grounding. This scene takes place when my brother and I are left alone with our mother, who is paranoid schizophrenic, because my grandparents have gone on vacation. And this frightening night, she tries to kill us, and we escape. But then she takes us outside because she says it's too dangerous to be inside because the whole house is bugged and they're listening. I steeled myself against the late summer chill. The night sky was dark and the moon lit the yard in whites and grays. William was gray too, his face and arms, teeth and hands. The tangerine tree in the center of the lawn, next to where Grandma and Grandpa kept their trailer, was gray. How I wished their trailer was in its spot and they'd never left. How I wish they'd understood what we were going through so they could make it stop and keep us safe. Mom came out a few minutes later with a quilt Grandma had made. She held it up briefly and then brought it down in front of her legs. Body heat, William's voice cracked. That's right, my smart boy, Mom said. She locked us out of the house and slid the key inside her shirt close to her armpit for safekeeping. She patted her chest and laughed. Neither one of you are going to go digging inside my bra. William and I followed her to the center of the cement in front of the garage. Like the rest of the house, the garage was painted seafoam green with white trim, but in the moonlight, it was colorless. Mom lay between the two of us and covered us with the quilt. It was cool against my skin, and I shivered every time Mom or William lifted the blanket with their movement. Here we are again, Mom said. It's like we're camping. Fun, huh? There was nothing fun about lying on a cement seam. I imagined weeds growing into my back and trapped ants and centipedes burrowing into me with their pinching mouths and needling antennae. My scalp itched. I scratched it and sniffed my hand, which smelled like oil and bacon. When had I eaten bacon? When did Grandma last peel the fatty strips away from each other and lay them in the skillet? My eyelids drooped. Mom pointed at the sky. Can you see the man in the moon? I drowsily studied the moon. I see it. It looks like a silvery seashell, Mom laughed. Ha! A tongue twister. Silvery seashell. Silvery seashell, William and I repeated. Mom gave us each a kiss on the cheek. I see a bunny rabbit. William pointed at the moon. You are so smart, Mom said. I do see a bunny rabbit. She giggled her cigarette breath onto my face. Can you see the rabbit, Leslie? I looked for the rabbit, but I could only make out the eyes and round O of the man in the moon. Yes, I said. I burned in my lie, even though it was a lie that didn't matter. William said he too could see a man, one standing next to the bunny. I didn't know what he was talking about. My man was a face, a huge skull inside the sphere, with his mouth huge and ready to eat the sky. I wanted to sleep, but I was afraid to let everybody out of my sight. The creepy crawlies came out of the ground, and Mom and William jabbered together in their private universe. My eyelids fluttered. Sheep jumped over a fence and became bunnies hopping into ovens. 1 sheep, 2 sheep, 3 sheep, 4. Red sheep, blue sheep, closed the door. 1 bunny, 2, red bunny, blue, and all the cows fly over the moon. And someone, somewhere, silver spoon. Fluffy bunnies leaped over fences behind my eyelids. A spotted cow with his bell strung up on a star dangled there, his collar constricting his neck. And if somebody didn't help him, he was going to die. Next, I will read a poem. And this poem was inspired somewhat by that night and by the idea that sometimes the things that are most beautiful and distant are the things we strive to understand. And if we're not careful, we can be influenced by them. Tyranny, it's generational. I see a bunny in the moon, a child says, white and fluffy, like the kind you pull out of a magician's hat. I keep staring at its mooniness, white, blotchy textures of light that I'll never understand. There has to be a glimmer somewhere in all that elusiveness. But I see him for what he is, ubiquitous dictator with his big O-mockery mouth, cheeks aflame with colorless laughter, taunting us with unstoppable, bloodless, rogue face, feral as the tides, and reflections of nothing salvaged, lying to us all about his magnitude, a deceptive entity with only a head and sunken eyes. He looks upon us with disdain at the splendid annihilation we've engineered with our machine hands, and our voices smeared with hate and misinformation, hearts blackened by 3 billion disparate rages, desperation rages. So I know not even magic, not even the stealthiest legerdemain can save us. The despot does not fall, nor does the curse of ruin upon humanity break, nor do simple, insurmountable humor and innocence resist. No, because it must be quite a cruel trick to reform minds that only follow patterns others have made.
I read Leslie's book in her voice in my head. I definitely urge you to do that. That was a very interesting thing. All right. Next up is a children's poet, editor, illustrator, and like her host, a professional organizer. Her mission is, and I quote, to replace the stress, the mess, and chaos in your life with peace, harmony, joy, and beauty, which I think we all could probably use. Up next is Risa Goldberg.
Thank you. This is called, can you hear me in the back? This is called an ABCD from the New Age. A, abundance is yours even before you ask. B, with the breath of God, the God self, you come into balance. C, center in the truth of who you are. D, a divine human in an earthly body. E, live your life with grace and ease, kindness and goodness. F, freedom is your birthright. G, and remember you are God also. H, look only to your heart, for the truth, it will set you free. I, because I am in all things. J, choose joy when you wake up in the morning. K, and know that faith, the size of an amaranth seed, will take you far. L, love is all there is. M, in this now moment, allow miracles. B, N, be your natural self. O, feel the oneness. P, and peace, power, and presence. Q, choose this as your quest. R, and be ready to receive. S, you are a spark of the divine, always supported by life. T, allow the transformation. U, you are the center of your universe. V, your own VIP. W, the world is your turkey leg. Unless you're a vegetarian, whatever that is. As the Buddhists say, partake of with wisdom. X, your excellent self. Y, you are a great creator with life. Z, do it with zeal, zest, and a slice of pizza. And don't forget to enjoy the ride. A couple of years ago, I went up to the Del Mar Fair, 2010, and I was surprised by the food that year. So this is called fair food. A day at the fair, a fresser's delight. I ate from the morn to the night. I loaded my belly with treat after treat, because a day at the fair is a day just to eat. Pork chops and puffs and funnel cakes too.
meatballs on sticks. I remembered I chewed. Sundays of beef and barbecue spaghetti. Dreamsicle floats. My stomach was wrong. Hot chip sandwiches. Friday found an astounding array of Twinkles and Oreos, Pop-Tarts that day. Klondike bars, churros, cheese curds so nice, and butter fried too. My God, what a vice. You can't make a choice among ice cream s'mores. What about frog's legs or Snickers galore? Buy a dozen of each, my dad used to say, and that's what I did because I always obeyed. Hot dogs and corn dogs, sausages of all kinds, battered and covered, and taters sublime. And look, a new item I couldn't pass by, a cinnamon roll sundae. I gave it a try. With a chocolate dip pickle and chocolate dip bacon, then fudge puppies parfaits, my stomach was aching. Frosted shots, towers, all made with banana, and buffalo chicken, a fried bread like man. But the pièce de résistance, a burger to bust your belly, your mind. You must eat it, you must. 11 inches wide. 10 slices of cheese, 8 hits of tomato, 12 pickles, yes please. A half head of lettuce, a sauce topped it off. Exactly 5 ounces, but surely you scoff. Well, it's true, and it cost just a mere 25. I imagine the leftovers with a smile 10 feet wide. Still stuff to taste, I picked out on fries, chili and cheese, and spirals, oh my. Twisters of taters, and fries made of apple, in mounds 10 feet tall, washed down with a snapple. An onion that bloomed, and veggie kebabs, weenie zucchinis, a hit with the mobs. There was more I'd forgotten, suffice it to say, a day of hard eating, a day hard at play. By the time I was done, my clothes had all burst. I had some pounds. I was fearing the worst. A shuttle too small, I couldn't fit in. A fire truck came and shaved off some skin. A day at the fair, a fresher's delight. Each year more eating to get it just right. I loaded my belly with treat after treat and swallowed antacids. Was sick for a week. My stomach was pumped. Would I do it again? In a heartbeat, fond memories. I eat in 10 minutes.
You would not be the first one to go over the road.
Okay, this will be quick. I think I had this published last year. It's called Dear God. I'm a creator, writing a song, playing my flute or strumming along, baking some bread, or planting some seeds, building a bridge, or pulling the weeds, cleaning my room or washing the dishes, reading a book or feeding the fishes. I'm a creator, whatever I do, but where would I be if I didn't have you?
It reminds me of I lived in Iowa for a while, and the Iowa State Fair was nothing but fried food and mullets. It was a lot of fun. I'm going to have to write a poem about mullets now. All right. Next is a former teacher, everybody's aunt, and today is what I heard one of the first times she's read in a while, which is actually one of my favorite things to see. So up next is Marlene.
Thank you.
There's light.
The poems I'm going to read, I wrote them in a different lifetime on the OB pier, sitting on one of the stone benches, looking out at the sunshine, and I hope you enjoy it. A child's laughter. A child's laughter is a joyous thing. It brings peace to a weary mind. It brings warmth to a weary heart. It brings sunshine to an empty home. Empty. Empty is my heart. Empty as a tomb. No love, no understanding. Just like an empty room. My empty heart is beating against my chest. It booms, longing and waiting in my empty tomb. Long journeys in, a sunset, a sunrise, a million birds across the skies, a city of crimson red, a lonely man bows his head, a prayer of forgiveness for the living and the dead. My heart. My heart sometimes feels empty, lonely, and without ease. My heart sometimes feels as if there's no peace in my soul, no place for it to rest. My heart sometimes feels that the world has let it down. But after all, it's my heart. My last one is beauty to me. Beauty is spring, summer, and fall. Beauty is a meadow of colored flowers. Beauty is the changing leaves of life. Beauty is the early morning's dew. Beauty is a day in autumn. Beauty is a raging storm. Beauty is a waterfall and a sound of rushing waves. Beauty is the ocean, sea, and stream. Beauty is 1,000 nesting birds. Beauty is a snow white dove. Beauty is a baby's cry. Beauty is a dirty child. Beauty is a fair child sleeping. Beauty is an old man, a young child. Beauty is a mother. Beauty is a boy and a girl in love. Beauty is music. Beauty is peace. Thank you.
We need that in an app. So if somebody can get her poetry in an app that we can listen to that all day, it'd be great. All right, up next is an author, poet, editor, writing coach, and probably someone you definitely want in your corner as a writer and person. She's also another poet I once had on my old school online poetry reading. Up next is Sherry Kepler.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here with everyone. I believe exploring the darkness brings us to the light. So here we go. This first one's my newest. It's called Unmarked Box. I'm an unmarked box. I have torn edges and rounded old corners, with no way to know what's inside. People stare, twist, pull, and shake me all ways upside, With their prickly hands, they try to pull me open, peek at my guts. But I am sealed shut, unable to gift the treasure for their longings. My sides are worn and weathered, the weight heavy, unreceptive really, full of emptiness and unsung songs. And I don't give any indication that things will move along. The more I'm handled, the more I rot. And the more the faint smell of decay slithers around my beige, faded bottom. My hinges are about to fall off, and my red top oozes life. But I am in this unmarked box. It is what people see, and yet all of this I know is not the truth of me. This one's from my book, Poetry of Peace. This one's called Edge. Have you ever thought about what happened to me after that night? I crawled out of the cesspool you called passion, stood on the edge, one moment, fading into another, black. And the thump-thump here lost all its power. I can't hear it anymore. Ever since you moved inside me, you didn't ask, you took. I screamed you liked it more, left me dripping black. Not enough rain to wash away the shame. Not enough blood to rid the damage. I live in the gutter of your lust. I stand on the edge thinking, this can't be what life is for. This one's called Balance. It's all about balance and clouds and frilly, frothy waves of white and teal, brushing the edges of my evolution. I ascend. Which way is the essence of all that triggers regret, mistakes, fueled by sight, sensibility squashed, flown out with the decayed debris of the day? I descend. Planks tan and smooth, sturdy yet fleeting, light and dark, opaline in my eyes, soaring to the summit, sensational steps to bliss, I ascend. The up and down rhythm surrounding my being, it's chaos streaming. No structure, no freedom. There is no skyward. There is no sinking. There are no stairs, for I am already there. I'm just going to do a quick haiku and then one more. Friend told me follow my bliss, but it won't get me paid or laid. It's poetry. Okay, and this last one I wrote for the people in Ukraine. It's called Swans and Bombs. A girl stood on a rock with water at her feet. She screamed with delight, felt her skin ignite. All those shrill sounds displaced edges of the night, and the world spun. The shimmer of black feathers in flight, skimming the blue, with the sound of open wings, ripples caressing the inner spiral of her thoughts. Swans. Her breath poised, relevant and ready, washed far by truth. Without sequence or direction, her reins dropped to the ground as she heard the other side of the world. Bombs. The drippings of power fight resistance and heat. The plunging fists with might, the buoyancy of blasts. The bounds of beauty breaking, reason and rhyme no longer filled the sky, and the world spun. She felt the mist on her face, the sun beads in her heart. She watched it all fall, the freedom she didn't earn, geography dictating life. But the swans, she held them close in her sight for all those who live with bombs. Thank you.
I really don't like how that haiku was too spot on. That was really good. Okay. All right, up next is a poet that actually lives true to her IG handle, Nicole Social Butterfly. She's kind of everywhere poetry is, and when I go to various events, you can usually expect to see her there. Up next is Nicole Lewis.
Well, I thought I had time to go to that. All right.
Read fast.
All right. Wow. Okay. Tuscany. There is a synergy stretched across the Tuscan horizon, rolling hills of emerald vineyards, accented in golden rays. Purple swollen grapes vined inside the sunset on the road to Lucca. Magenta petals perched on the top of trees on vast orchards, in a land so far away, yet close to my heart, I awaken. I really thought I had time to go to the bathroom. Constellations. Right? Yeah. Her eternal scars blanketed her soul, their patterns shaped into constellations. Her story is told through love and tragic myths. Ursa Major, Alta, Vega, the Pleiades, Cupid, and Psyche, and Andromeda. Oh no, wait, hold on guys, wait. Dedicated to life. Hitana. That's for her, thoughts. She's looking at me like, what the heck? Asiatic lily twirling around the moon. She moves gentle as rose petals, gazpacho, sun-dried tomatoes, paella, flavor inside her rhythms. Her hips evoke the fires of Tempranillo. Fluid waves crash within her belly, beckoning yaminya. Strong legs stretched across ocean's summoning goddesses, ancient spells beneath her skirt. Awaken the dance. We are the tribe of the high priestess, reclaiming the soul of the gypsy. And I know that gypsy is a derogatory term, so it's really Romani, but it flows good. Stargazers are back to the glass is going on. The stargazers face me in a cobalt vase. Their scent, similar to pink jasmine. I paint over you. Every petal, every pestle, every stamen. Ivory and pink colored acrylic paint. Bleed to the edge of the canvas. I pour another glass of wine and sip cautiously. Vanilla, chocolate, blackberry, spice, plum. I chased you away again. Sage, green, olive, pink, jagged, make an excellent stem. See, I'm a stargazer. Soft, explosive, rosy, timid, aromatic. I shoot to the moon. Metallic, silver, gold, chrome. I went to a stage where I was like painting over the guys I was trying to get over, so that was constellations. Her eternal scars blanketed her soul. Their patterns shaped into constellations. Her story is told through love and tragic myths. Ursa Major, Alta and Vega, the Pleiades, Cupid, and Psyche and Andromeda. Oh, well, what's the time here? Am I doing good?
You've got about a minute and a half.
Oh, shoot, okay. La Lune. She watches over me with one eye open, her pale, nude body wrapped in a blanket bejeweled with stars. I am guided by her luminescence, and even in my darkest phases, I am comforted by her magic. Okay. All right, here we go, and the last one. Once again, I'm obsessed with men, so I gotta read about it. Waxing and waning, full moon. I got in my car and headed south out of the San Francisco Bay. My heart ties tugged and pulled as the last of the full moon energy ran her course. Waning, giddiness. Panic and disoriented. I realized this is how it was with us. The epiphany came to me as I watched the sunshine struggle behind the solid clouds, yet revealing golden rays to show me the light. Third quarter. The tears streamed down my favorite Fleetwood Mac tank top and evaporated as the car window dissipating into the indigo skyline. Waning crescent. Your feelings for me a slit of the crescent, visible but barely there. New moon. I recall the first night we met. You were spellbound by me, and I was moonstruck by you. We danced to reggae music all night long. 2 water signs interlaced. Waxing crescent. Yet, you constantly searched for someone else, ignoring the strong woman, moon, who was part of you, always present. First quarter, I. The dreamy Piscean woman could never resist you, the capricious Cancer man, waxing giddiness. The Cancer and man whose feelings mirrored the moon phases. New moon, dark, nowhere to be found. Crescent, caught in the middle of half love, half not. Full moon, passionate, lustful, overpowering. All other feelings in between, waxing and waning.
Nothing feels better than peeing after good reading.
Oh, I didn't even pee. Sorry, I didn't even say pee.
I've been there.
I went to the bathroom.
Sorry, we're not waiting. All right. Up next is another author of children's books, putting words along the way. She's written short stories and visionary and metaphysical fiction, which I don't know what that means, but count me in. Up next is Danielle Susine.
Okay, figure out where I put what I'm reading. Okay, so this is a poem I wrote waiting for permission to share some words in a book I'm writing. So I didn't hear back for a little while. It's called The Silence. The silence does not define you. It does not grade or degrade. Even when your head conjures up words within, profanities, put-downs, the mind is good at making the absence of answers look ugly. You know it will all be okay, especially in the stillness. Responses inaudible become clear, and speak and knowing the words will always come and go. They are you and aren't you in the best possible way. So quiet the unpleasant inner argument and breathe in the peace of your essence. Solely, wholly you exist without even writing a single word. Silence, listen. It will all be beyond amazing beyond what you call amazing in the end. So I like to put my poems to pictures. So I don't know if it'll stay. Here you are now, in body, matter, ground to the earth, your feet solid against the soft, cold soil, but you must sometimes sense it, that lightness. That lightness, that familiar inkling, that thing that whispers gently from within, imploring in its own strange language for you in there, somewhere, to remember. Remember from where it was we all came. Here, there, everywhere, a place where light gleams so miraculously even a blind eye can see. Don't turn away, please. Can't you recall? Can't you recall your temporary separation from the one you once or twice or many times over imagined from there, when the world was but a wish of a dream of a journey you sought to conquer with confidence? And where you come from is not right, my dear, nor left, but heart center, aligned in soul, centered in soul. Not red, blue, white, yellow, indigo, black, violet, orange, or rainbow, but a bright, enamel hue of immaculate radiance that often blends onto the life page amidst your ridiculous human corals, smearing together a smorgasbord of nonsensical dribble when you can't get a proper hold on your paintbrush. Your life's work is beautiful beyond measure when you paint your heart out with the love that is eternally you. Put your brush down for now and listen. Does it ring a bell, beautiful ones? The idea of your plan to volunteer, to test subject this life, seemingly seeming so perfect then, though when you have finally arrived, enough time went by that the heaviness of the material world clogged your intuitive drains, solidified from others' minds, clouded, and only then were you confused into believing the lies that starved your mind from the infinite knowledge of who you really are. Your ethereal bellies grew hungry for hope that cannot be stomached in earthly battlefields of dis-ease and violence, only pretending to make sense in this achy body. Release it, let it go, set it free. What's real here is only borrowed, buried beneath news that reeks of fear and desperation. Movie scenes of history's ugly secrets. Yet the soul knows, it knows this life, it is only an act. Stop playing your part for a second, will you? Shut your tired eyes and ears to the drama that plays on repeat and just be. Breathe in and then out, your pains for now. Drop those hefty burdens you shouldn't have even picked up in the first place. It doesn't have to feel so heavy when you remember the soul lives always, and death is but a mirage rolling over the hot summer street. When the sun finally dips down below the horizon and the darkness begins to set in, look closely. It's all just a clever magic trick, sleight of hand by an omniscient magician. You are love, that is all. So rest your eyes tonight and know it is peace you find when you rise above your people's old stale ways, awaken to that awareness of what you've always known deep down. This is my last one. It's called My Path is Marked. My path is marked with trees, like synchronicities I remember having planted before I was born. Seeds sown and grown, like the me that has formed wings to finally feel the wind beneath. Me rising high above trees I planted in dreams years before. I trust fully now, finally, my path lit with synchronicities, and I see, like in dreams, I can fly.
One more.
What?
That's 5 minutes, but
Okay.
if you have a short one that you'd like to do?
No, the last one I have written down is long, so. Okay. Thank you.
I gotta put my poetry in art. What am I missing out? All right, we have 3 left. Our next poet is an author, educator, written book with awards for kids and adults alike. Her involvement in the writing sphere for kids is inspiring, actually, and it kind of makes me wonder if I'm doing enough with my own life. So, up next is Jen Laffey.
Anybody who listens better while reading along, I do have copies. Thank you. I'm that way. Yes.
That's a true teacher. Visual.
This might take a while.
All right, I'll time myself. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys. Oh, it's been such a pleasure hearing you all read. I only have one poem. It's inspired by my 6-year-old daughter asking me one night right before bed, who was the Buddha and what did he do? And I didn't have an instant response. I didn't have a good instant response, but I did have the first line come to me instantly. And I've taken 5 years now to write the rest of this. So I'm still working on it. All right, so the poem is called Here I Am, Happiness, How Buddha Found His Flow. Buddha sat down beneath an old fig tree and said, Here I am, happiness, come catch me. I was a prince once, I lived like a king. I threw the best parties, ate every rich thing. What a surprise when the good times would end, and my soul would speak up. That was happy pretend. So I turned to the wise ones. I studied their words. I tossed out my riches like seeds for the birds. Enlightenment now was the one goal I sought, but did I achieve it? Alas, I did not. Now I'm done searching. I give up. I quit. I'm all out of options. I think I'll just sit. And he took in a deep breath of forest fresh air. He let his lips smile, set his shoulders soft square. His eyes lowered down to a peaceful half stare, and then our friend Buddha simply sat there. For 49 days, that makes 7 weeks straight, Buddha sat like a lotus at one with his fate. His belly grew empty, his back would not bow. He hungered for freedom, right here and right now. He burned in the sun, he soaked with the rain, he breathed in the wind, and he breathed out his pain. He wrestled with doubts and with fear and regret. Still he stayed focused. How far could he get? Friends shook their heads and put rice in his cup. A few of them whispered, "Come on, man, give up." Buddha just smiled, but his message was clear. I'm finding my bliss, or it's finding me, here. And as the days passed, he began to be aware. Was all the world conspiring to help him win his dare? The web of roots he sat among, the buzzing of a bee, the simplest things in life grew his curiosity. And he gazed out at the river, watched it flowing lazily. He listened to its music, traced its grand complexity. His eyes danced with its patterns. He watched those patterns disappear. His breath flowed even deeper. His mind grew crystal clear. That feeling he had sought, could it be growing near? Buddha knew it in his heart, knew the river held the key. Still sitting like a lotus, he leaned in gratefully. Just an ordinary soul caught in an everlasting flow. He felt himself swept up, and he let himself let go. Joy flowed through his heart like welcome rain out from a cloud. The air around him shimmered. The river laughed out loud. His questions answered each other. His eyes were the eyes of the world. In each leaf and blade of grass, he found wisdom brave unfurled. Everything felt special, and yet it was the same. Hunger gnawed, mosquitoes bit, sadnesses still came. But sitting had taught Buddha how to surf life's up and downs. He stood and smiled to see his toes back on the ground. The Buddha was enlightened, finally, at last. He was balanced as a flower where the future meets the past. But something still was missing. He laughed. What could I lack? All this happiness within me? I know. I'll give some back. An idea sparked in his mind. Maybe I could start a ferry. I'll work with the river and make crossing it less scary. And so he built a vessel, just a simple serviceable raft, to help folks cross the river. You could say he found his craft. And you know, they still are at it, the Buddhas to this day, showing all of us how happiness can flow yet truly stay.
I've read a lot of things about Buddha, and that's the one thing that actually made sense. So I really appreciated that. All right, our penultimate poet is someone whose name you kind of just know if you're in the poetry and San Diego writing scene. Been published in many locations and anthologies, and I believe she is still the host of Published at the Grove. Up next is Deborah Rainey.
Hi. Thanks for having me here today, Bethel. Where are you? If Jesus was a chocolate bar of bliss, I would baptize my body with the sacred blood of ruby caramel. My fingers would trace a honey road into his holy mouth until he licked them clean. I would cocoon around the amber pleasure and let my sins melt into the confectionery of his hands. Sure, right? This next one is a creation story about something that I created. Descent of light. I fell through a hole in the night sky, so I plugged it up with 1,000 galaxies. The dreamless dark planted its seed deep within the universe of my womb. I held the seed of you as I left the universe of my own mother's womb.
And from that you grew, took on your own shape, and spoke in an unknown language. Your pure light couldn't be contained, escaping through slats of the fragmented sky. Young stars fell to the new earth, carried fresh water through forming canyons. Tides ebbed beneath the virgin moon as I danced upon the muddy shell of a rising island. This next poem, it's in my book, From the Earth and Gem on My Body, back there. And this tells a story about a trip I took to the Amazon with my son and his friends. So it was me and 4 20-year-olds. And I kept up. But my biggest worry was that my older body was going to act up and do all the weird shit that old bodies do, you know? When you're far away from home. This is called Beneath the Canopy. The Amazon scared me, but not the greens of ferns and philodendrons, not the pinks of the shy river dolphins, not the orange fruit of the dripping sunset. It was the not knowing. How would I survive the orchestra of bubbly fluids in my guts, the constricted pounding behind my eyes, or the monkey mind of an insomniac? I had the pharmacy of pills in my bag, and yet I was feverish. Beneath the canopy of macaw reds and toucan yellows, anxiety settled in the seat of a canoe motoring down the river road. A butterfly with tissue paper wings brushed my face and rested on the walnut skin of our guide. I was becoming a part of the painting. While we explored leafcutter trails, cleaned yucca roots to make bread, and sipped the shaman's brew of ayahuasca, behemoth cockroaches filled every cranny of our open bags and shoes. The prehistoric scarabs will miss my screams the most. But it was the blue jungle rains that slowed the pumping of my heart, and the carbon sink of new air that quieted the static in my head. I surrendered to the peace of it, to the simplicity of it. I surrendered until the aging core of my body fell into the chanting hands of the Amazon.
Before we started, Deborah came up to me and she's like, "Hi, I'm Deborah Amos." It's like, of course I am. I'm glad she got to be here. Our last, but absolutely not least, at least before we get to Bethel's poetry, is a staple in San Diego. In fact, I believe she's why we have the San Diego Writers Inc. today. So, up next, Judy Reeves.
I am the penultimate poet. And I have just a little bit of an arc of a love story. So it's 4 poems, so there's no need to applaud in between, she says, giving you some relief.
Can we, if we want to?
You're a poet, you're going to do what you want.
I get that. I would know.
No, it's fine. Whatever you want to do.
I got the message.
Casting a spell. Whoever you are, dark and handsome, blonde and lithe, silver-haired and wide-shouldered, unsuspecting you at a cafe with your coffee and your laptop, in the park under a sycamore with your book and your dog, tattooed at Trader Joe's. Though you may not recognize the longing, it is there, just under your t-shirt, your sweatshirt, your lightly starched white. One day, maybe a Thursday in March, some bright Sunday in April, or when summer is full upon us, you will see me or hear my voice, and you won't be able to resist. I will be the one you have been waiting for. I will be the answer to the prayer you didn't know you were praying. Music to the words in your heart. You will see me and you will say, here you are at last. Skin. I want to touch your skin.
That was a clap.
I want to touch your skin. I want to drag my fingers along the outside of you. I want to leave my prints on your wrists, the smooth inside part where I can feel your wrist, the beat of the blood. I want to touch my palm to your thigh where your skin curves and leads like a path to somewhere else. I want to go there. I want to know you inside out. I want to write a poem on your back, word by word on the knuckles of your spine, and let my ink sink deep beneath the surface of you. I want to stain you with my words, tattoo your body with my name. I want to be your second skin, cover you, draw tight around your everything. Midsummer bonfire. The night, the beach, the bonfire. You circle the fire ring in your chairs, bare feet against the warm concrete. You've come, writers and poets and keepers of journals, to feed the flames with memories and dreams. Words penned in morning beds or easy chairs or at cafe tables with coffee and concern. The frozen poems and unfinished stories, the list you made and the goals you set, the trip you'd take, the weight you'd lose, the job you'd get, the lover you'd take. Page after torn out page flutter into the flame, accompanied by an occasional laugh or snort or sob, a curse, a sigh, a remembered phrase spoken aloud. Reading again your scribbled words, that time in Paris, that line in French you copied down and tried to say. A cloud of smoke on the lift. Your eyes are tearing, you cough and wave your hand before your face and turn your head, and memory appears. The night, the music, the sound of a fountain in the courtyard, and him saying in French what you don't understand, except the word regret. This is how lonesome feels. The sun goes down and the sky turns dusky, and everything tastes like homesick. You drape the sky around your shoulders and know how lonesome feels. Every chord is minor, every light dim, and if a stranger smiles at you, you see regret beneath the curve of lips. You've been alone too long. If you count the time in twilights, it would number a lifetime. You understand moths dying for the flight, the sorrowful call of the whippoorwill, the futile signal of the firefly. You imagine a lifetime of loneliness. You picture your hair going gray, your body loosening into a fold of wrinkles. Your best intentions cooled at your feet. How long since you've recognized a face, felt the touch of a familiar hand, a bowl of flowers on the kitchen table, an orange peeled and halved for you. Thank you.
Well, if it wasn't warm in here already. All right. Up last, finally, the one we are all here to celebrate and hear from. I've known Bethel for a little while, and every time I see her post stuff about her writing and her books, I just am so inspired by it. She's just talking to her on my podcast, that conversation we had, she left and I actually sat down and wrote for an hour. So that's how much I appreciate her. So without further ado, that's what's up.
Thank you all so much. And thank you whoever's been hanging out with us on the live. I do see some comments. I'll be responding later.
Happy birthday.
Yay. Thank you. She's not going to let me hide. It's my birthday today. So. Happy birthday.
All right.
Yes, I won't say my age. So we're going to start with a poem called Breakup Bread. Breakup bread. I bake you a loaf of banana bread the night I break us up. Something sweet and good, like you say I am. Something that can't be overthought, like I always do. Something I can give in place of myself to you. Because I don't know how else to declare love and still break things off. Because you are a magic man, and maybe if I were younger, I could let you mold me with those magic hands. But your spell is wearing off. Mine over you never took. And the last thing to go is your enchanting touch. I am slowly, anxiously drifting away from you and myself. It's true, you awakened the woman within, and if I close my eyes, I am back there again, shivering as your fingertips brush my skin, hands running through my hair like a whisper, where do you like me to kiss you better? But you don't believe lovers can be friends, and I need that too. I need so much from you. When I say, I know you don't love me yet, I mean I already love you. You respond with, aw, and mean, true. So now this bread is a buffer between our parting and your indifference. You accept my offering with one suggestion. Walnuts would make it better. So I'm going to read one from the, this book, I suppose I should give a little background, primarily about dating. It's called Conversations with Good Men. It has 2 intermissions. It's kind of done like with a story arc where it's like my dating life, which was real short, as y'all know. And then it has intermission with like spiritual poems and an intermission with father-daughter poems. So this is from the father-daughter section. And we just bought a new car recently, so this was fun to have those memories come back. Buying my first car, and so I bring you along. The young salesman with the slicked back hair takes my hand, envelops it in both of his, pleading with me to just trust him. I look to you for backup. You're embarrassed, but which bothers you more? Not knowing? What is a good deal on a service plan? Or me not trusting? He seems like a good man. See, there it is again. I'm always wanting you to pull out a shotgun, lay it across your knees, stare down my enemies, but that isn't your way. You say it shouldn't be mine, but you planted me in the ghetto, in bloodied ground, amid siren songs. From each rose grown in the concrete, 1,000 thorns. I fight to the death, an alley cat, never at peace, never at home. Thank you. Let's do... This is from my very single days. This is from the spiritual section. A single tale. They say that I'm the picky one, who laughs at men as circus clowns, who sees their acts but turns them down, then walks on stilts, tall and alone. They want to see me settle down. What to settle beyond the score? They try to make my thinking sound. What sound asleep on peaceful shore? They say that it is best that I, when drained from kissing dreary skies, when weary wearing pride's disguise, then choose one to cheer, to chastise, to comfort heart with loving lies. Why then shame Adam and blame Eve, where they sought knowledge from a tree, untethered how I aim to be. Okay, so now I'm going to read the poem that inspired the cover. It is a little bit sad, with a little trigger warning in there for assault, but we're committed now, so sorry. All right, so this is called Potpourri Rain. 4 dozen, long-stemmed, dethorned, blood-red roses cut down for you to apologize without words. Breathing in their fragrance, I recall a magic formula for happy relationships. Count 10 blessings for each complaint. Mathematically speaking, I'm supposed to save us. For Isabel, the tiny shell you brought back for me from flight school. For the Tupperware full of chocolate-kissed sugar cookies I baked for your return. For that ugly, oversized I Can Fly t-shirt you thought I might like for a nightgown. For the blisters I earned hunting with you for that one gnarly bridge downtown. For your fear of snakes, my bravery at karaoke, and our mutual impotence at shuffleboard.
for your skill at piloting the Romeo and Juliet and yet not being able to close its door, for those photos you weren't ready for me to take and the kisses I wasn't ready to give, for the too much too soon thrill of you claiming me by naming me your Jan, and now for these with all your love. But what of the sanctity of letting one's yes be yes, their no, no? Trust is a fickle thing, a fragile thing, a patternless puzzle of a thing with no aeronautical charts known to men and not enough parachutes for women. The morning after things fell apart, I hugged your Buddha belly to me, your shoulders slumped in defeat, knowing you'd knowingly hurt me. We agreed in silence. In the following days, you tried to cheer us up, joking about chastity belts, blaming beer, and maybe just a little bit Ladki beautiful means beautiful girl. You promised next time to be you, sincere, kind, patient, and gentle. Tonight, I light a candle, your peace offering pressed between my palms, and make next time promises to you. To rise up in radiant robes of Draupadi, thwarting your attempts with my endless dignity. To leave and look back only to laugh last, shedding no tears when the final bloom dies. To crush and release it as fragrant ashes, falling like foolish Icarus from the sky. So this last one, not too many of these are speak to my Chicago roots, but this one does. There's the Harold Washington Cultural Center in Chicago.
The Windy City.
And this one's called Couples at the Harold Washington Cultural Center. This time, when I fall in love, let it be more than a mirage. This time, may I have a poker face, but no need to put it on. This time, let it be both partners awakening, not only one, gliding, smooth as stepper shadows, moving in unison, fogging up ballroom windows with their winter passion. So just want to remind everybody that's here in person that the individuals who read today who do have books, they're all in the back. You can see them back there. And you can identify us. A lot of us are wearing name tags, and we'd be happy to sign a copy for you. There's lots of food, and there's cake. We will cut the cake. Yeah, so yes, please eat food, because I don't want to have to eat all of this food. And thank you all for coming out. I really appreciate it. And
thanks for having us.
Adam, come right up, and then he's going to close us out. We will have a little selfie station in the back if you guys want to take photos with myself or another author or just a friend. We have a couple little props.
If we have any left, can we give a round of applause for other readers? These are some of my favorite poets here in San Diego, and being in this community is just, it has changed my life for the better, so I appreciate everybody that's here. I guess I'll read one. And then
Oh, yeah, baby.
This is called, But What If I Don't? I'm told that in time I'll find what's mine, or if it's meant to be, it'll find me. But time is only on time's side. Time doesn't care about to be or not to be. And I can have riches and rewards, good times and bad. But an empty bed beheads joy, separates the body from the mind, and leaves me behind in a reverberating pile on the floor. Just another poor, lonely poet lost in translation, in a one-soul nation, on a desolate island in the middle of an ocean. So I don't buy into the notion that shit was set and beaten in motion long before I arrived. I've lived and died too many times to know better, to know that each love letter, though better than the last, will never be enough to not repeat the past. Besides, love is all just an awkward stance at a high school dance, that constant daily reminder that you either got it or you don't. So in every way it's up to me to be the sea change. But my life is filled with unfulfilled tsunamis, just water ebbing away and never flowing back. Always away, never back. So if I truly am stranded on this desolate island, but I could have just one thing, it would be the ability to swim.
Janice made a great suggestion that we can all take a group photo.
Cool. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
for joining. I'm gonna end it. I'm going to hopefully save it so that we can see it later. Sorry, I don't know which phone to look at. Shout out to Hillary Charlene, I think is her username, for letting me use her phone to do this one. Thanks for joining us, and I'm gonna save it and I'll respond to comments later. Thanks so much, guys.